to solve the problems, challenges, and obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that we set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you would like a brief introduction, a brief summary into the Ahn Project, as well as how we break it down into domains of life, analogies, and so on and so forth, you can check that out on the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years, straight to January 2021, and beyond for more updated versions. So with that being said, all the live stream content scheduling as well as the copyright-free music, all that jazz can be found in previous versions. If you like, let's just dive into the second segment of this live stream, which is usually table of contents. At this pivotal point, I like to say, if you want to fast forward beyond the introduction, you can just skip ahead by maybe 3-4 minutes into the stream if you're watching this on playback, but like on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, or Twitch. Just skip the introduction. I would also like to mention in this second segment, as usual, there's like the table of contents, right? That there's a lot of restructuring. So there's a Solve 5 override, meaning system version 5 override. And there's going to be a new system override, version 6, which incorporates my whole body, my whole, the way I think, my attitudes, my behaviors. But specifically, system 5 override means that, of course, I don't have to follow the structure according to how I usually break down the live streams for the past about year, which is 3 phases. We have 3 phases across the 15-minute live stream, which is a phase 1, it's kind of introductory, but phase 2 is kind of like all the digital stuff. It has 5 segments, and then phase 3 has 3 segments. So let's just dive right into it and skip ahead all the stuff that doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna pull up some stuff here. There's some stuff that I want to talk about in the first segment in phase 2. That's specifically the media assets. So I'm going to lower the volume now, and you can see on the left hand side there's a little phone, a little screenshot of a phone capture right here, and that has to do with specifically audio recordings I held for myself, my own thoughts, and I talked a little bit of version 6.0 in one of these recordings, as well as a little bit of reflection on psychotherapy and psychiatry, and how I don't really have to go too far into it anymore. I've learned a lot in the past month or so, diving into, shout out to Dr. Grande, Dr. Ramani, and Dr. Carter, as well as a childhood trauma specialist. I believe his name was Patrick, and I want to call him Doctor, but I'm not sure. And then his last name is Tian or something like that. But anyways, there's a lot of people I've been looking out towards to learn from, and it's been interesting. And I had to dial it back to realize that, of course, I'm not as horrible a person that I keep believing that I am. And the fact that I was able to salvage even the difficulties that my domestic guardians had meant that even they weren't they were salvageable at the very least. So they're not full on complete NPD or grandiose vulnerable narcissistic personality disorder. So I'm very glad to say that I was able to make the influence. Or if they were, I was somehow able to change them. So that's great, and I was able to address my own issues as well. Not completely, but we're working on it. So that's that. That's what's on that recording over there. On the middle, we have some stuff that's from my workplace, and that's what's in the title. If you take a look at the recording, of course, there's also the live stream itself. These are all part of the directory segment 4. And so what you see is what you get. The title says something along the lines of work papers, engineering design papers. We'll talk about that in a second, which is where we're moving ahead right now. So relationships in segment 5 kind of finished now. I want to mention quickly that there was at the workplace one of the owner's sons has come back, and of course we've fallen off, but that's okay because at least they're kind of free now, and I'm still going to continue to contribute positively in whatever way I can, which is difficult to say. I always see myself as being this sort of burden to other people, but I recognize now that it's kind of it's not true. I mean, it has been to a sense, but we're not gonna get to elaborate on that in any sort of detail in 15 minutes. So let's pull up this kind of stuff here, and I want to talk about now the book. So blow dryer rack. It's pretty interesting here. There's page 1 and page 2. Page 1 on the right hand side, page 2 on the left. Basically, I designed this kind of blow dryer rack at a time, which was kind of like a fire hazard thing, and I completely wrote it up trying to use my wits as kind of like an engineer. But I never really got completed because it wasn't necessary. At the end of the day, when the health inspector came by they just wanted to take it down. Not the health inspector, but basically my staff manager. They're like, it's not really gonna do it much, and I'm like, I pretty much agree. And so I took it down. It was some hard work, but so I'm just keeping this paperwork here so that I can store it, and that's kind of my own creation. But it wasn't very useful, and so it was misdirected energy and time. Anyways, I'm not doing that shit again. Let's move on to the side. If I am going to use my energy, it's going to be something worthwhile. We're talking about food analysis, usually segment 7. So segments 4, 5, 6 are done. Segment 7 right here. Oh no, segment 6 is not done. We have this little quote here from. So shout out to Stoic Reflections. As usual, this is not my own content. This is copyrighted stuff by Stoic Reflections. Check the page on Instagram. This is one of the few things I follow because it has a very personal meaning to me and significance to me growing up. Philosophy is my father and my mother. Essentially, I am my mother and father, but basically I raised myself, and philosophy has played a very powerful role in doing that. So Stoicism, the shortness of life so often lamented, is the best thing about it. And to way to basically take away the jargon is to say, of course, and it was by Arthur Schopenhauer. Basically, it just means I mean, it's up to interpretation, but the way I see it is basically it's the things that are temporary in life. The temporality of life is what gives it its value. If something was infinite and eternal, um, there would be no meaning or reason to pursue anything, because over time you'd be able to accomplish everything, and then everything would cease to have a purpose. It's like you could do everything, then you have no more direction, no more goals, no more motivation for anything. But anyways, that's that, and let's move it down to the side. So one way of facing, I guess, death and stuff like that. We have today. We also have some new developments. Of course, today I was actually finally able to eat my breakfast downstairs in the kitchen. Again, shared household of 4 or 5 different families in this household. So it means that I kind of woke up a little bit. I'm trying to recover, right? I'm trying to get back on time. So this is me eating at the stove top with my supplements and oatmeal, and there's some pound cake. So it's a class 2 item. Want to mention class 2 item means it plays into my insecurities or emotional baggage. Of course, the Ahn Rho Project has to be, in some sense, a time capsule by analogy of my life. So I have to be good, raw, and genuine, and not shy away from PC topics about emotional baggage, insecurities, that all that kind of stuff. The good, the bad, and the ugly is covered on the stream. Okay, let's move to the side. That's everything that I have to cover in terms of digital stuff. So, no, I'm wrong about that. Let me take that back here. We have some Excel spreadsheets. So, of course, I did have to there's some inventory from the pound cake. Yesterday I ate some stuff that I shouldn't have. I didn't even sleep exactly as early as I needed to. Same thing with fitness. I didn't sleep as early as I needed to, but also because of that, I binge ate a little bit. I didn't go to work exactly at the time that I wanted to, but it was a big improvement. So step up, good. And so that's good. That's good. Things are improving, but we have a lot of work to continue on with. So let's go into phase 3. This is the most active, engaging part of the stream. Let's stand up here for this. So the room, of course, is divided into about 7 different regions, broken up into 62, 65 different sections. So I'm gonna say here, most importantly, I'm gonna say this region A8 and 8-9, A8 and 9. We have to cover a lot of stuff here, but before that, also D1 and D4, and also if I turn around to the backdrop here, region E and F, specifically E3 and F1. So since we're here right now, let's just talk about E3 and F1. So E3 down here had that workplace book that I created, and I took a scan of, and over the past 3 days on live stream, you can check the previous live streams. It's covered now. I scanned it all. I uploaded it onto my laptop, so it's great. And now I've returned it over to the workplace because, like, even though I made it, I don't have any real reason to keep it. I just wanted an electronic copy of, kind of like a souvenir, but the rest I'm just gonna leave it there. And whatever they decide to do with it, my colleagues, they might just throw it in the trash. It's fine. So next to it, underneath that workbook, of course, on top is this kind of like laundry basket. I still haven't used the triangle bandages yet because I haven't changed my clothes. But down here, this times bag is next. Most likely starting tomorrow or the day after when I start using this time. But I want to run through all this. This is a major class 2 item that I want to get rid of. It's been here for almost a year when I should have covered a year ago, a year and a half ago actually. On the inside is a lot of stuff that is just, a mix of class 1, class 2 items, things from my own, things from my guardians, and that's a lot of insecurities. So I gotta get rid of that kind of stuff because it's not good for me. Up here we also have like really just overcome your issues. Also in region, like I said, F1, F2, we have underneath my kind of drop, my back support belt is this bag. Underneath the bag is this shirt and scarf. And so this shirt and this scarf, I plan on taking photographs with some of the colleagues at my workplace who gifted me this shirt as well as this scarf, and even this mask here. Oh, I can't show you, it's not here anymore. Maybe it's down here. I don't know where it is. But the point is, the mask, the scarf, and everything, it's all black kind of stuff. One of them that it was handcrafted, one of them. Two of these are purchased, but one of them handcrafted. And so obviously I've resigned from the workplace and I want to take a photograph of the people who I care about most, because they're really like my aunts, my godmothers, kind of like feel like adopted by them. So that's great. Going to the side here, we're going to region D4. Like I said, this is really largely empty. I don't have too much to say about this. I'm going to decide, take this apple pie, I'm going to bring this to work. Or probably this, I'm not sure. I'll leave it here. But maybe the apple pie's tomorrow. Yeah, apple pie's tomorrow. And then I'll bring this to work. This is just kind of coconut bun. And that's about it. That's all I'm going to eat today at the workplace. And I'm going to bring some supplements from the side there. Before I mention that, inside this cartridge is some trash. So I'm going to move it over here to region A8, A9. We have about 3 minutes left remaining, 2.5. So right here, let's put some garbage away. I can see there's this disgusting Reese's Pieces here. I need to put this inside that bag. So garbage inside the bag inside the bag, and then toss it out. Same thing here, this trash. Like, Jesus, it's disgusting. So I just toss it in there. And I'll take one of these supplements here. Maybe this one here. Let's take this one. I don't know. We're gonna take this one. And maybe I'll fill up with some stuff in there if I have enough food. No, it's not enough. So we'll move it to the side is trash. I'm gonna break down the box to recyclables. Inside is garbage. And I'll put these supplements and I'll stick it with this coconut bun thing. And that'll be my dinner. Maybe I'll take it with this pastry and that'll be my dinner. So I'm gonna take this to work. That's garbage and work kind of sorted out for the day. That's great. And that's for tomorrow. So I'll move there. Back on track over here. Oh shit. This too. At the very backdrop, the Reese's Pieces. That's also a food item. I should move it here. And I'll probably move like one of these Reese's Pieces and take that to work as well. The rest is just trash, like in terms of the plastic. All right, back to here, A7, A8, I mean A8, A9. So we have this kind of, like I said, the blow dry rack, right? So I took a snapshot of everything. I completely hand drew this. I hand drew this like a schematic from an engineering background. You see the figures, the captions, support, securement cords, suspension cords, all that kind of stuff. The materials, raw materials. Diagrammatic sketch of everything on the inside of instructions, how to use it, but of course I never continued any further, and so of course there's everything like that. And then there's a logistical coordinator role, so that kind of stuff like that. And all these papers, I'm going to return this back over to the workplace because I don't really have a reason to keep any of this stuff. So I'm going to leave it over here. Like I said, I'm going to take it with me to work, so I'm going to leave it next to the food that I'm taking as dinner. So right there. Okay. I have about a minute left. What do we have to cover last? Okay, so we have some supplements here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, 1, 3, 3. These packets of health pack from the Museum of Health Sciences. They were from up there in region C1, C2. Brought down here. And that we're just going to leave right here next to region A5 because this is the stuff that I take to work. I'm going to take this over here and say the Ferrero Rocher. Let's just throw it in the trash, honestly. This stuff, because it was a class 4 item, meaning it's a gift item from one of the clients I volunteered for, and so it's very personal to me, but I don't need it anymore. And last thing before we go, this kind of packet of red pens. I suppose I could put it underneath here, where some office work is, underneath the helmet here. I decided to put in region B2. So with that being said, or down there most likely later on for storage. So I have about 15 seconds left, but no less. So take care of your health, your finances, and hope to see a better version of yourself tomorrow as well as myself. So Ahn Rho signing out. Ciao.